Don't you dare boss me around because you're a contract worker. Working as a contract employee, I was verbally abused like this by a client's employee. At that time, I was furious, but I could never have anticipated the twists and turns that followed. My name is Ethan. When I was a kid, my family, to put it bluntly, was poor. We became poor because my dad had co-signed a loan for a friend. This friend had said he needed money to start a business and asked my dad to be a guarantor. However, the friend's business failed, and he disappeared, leaving only the debt behind. Since then, our days were filled with cutting costs to repay the debt. We couldn't afford toys or games, and I remember watching enviously as my friends played with their new toys. I begged my parents, but they always said they couldn't afford it. I believed they wanted to buy them for me, but we just didn't have the financial means at the time. Still, as a child, I was quite upset about not being able to have what I wanted. Around that time, a particular game became a huge hit. Everyone seemed to have it, and it was the talk of the day, every day. I desperately wanted that game and kept nagging my parents, but the answer was still no. Eventually, my frustration reached its peak, and I yelled, "Why won't you buy it for me? You're so stingy." After that, for several days, I barely spoke to my parents, and when I did, I said terrible things like I wish I were part of a different family, and I hate being so poor, I want to change my parents. But after saying those things, I also felt a sense of guilt. I never really wanted to replace my family. It was just something I said in the heat of the moment. I knew my parents weren't mean for not buying me things, and deep down, I loved them. My dad was kind and would play with me despite his busy schedule, and my mom was reliable and strong in tough situations. Eventually, overwhelmed by guilt, I decided to apologize to my parents. "I'm sorry, I don't want anyone but you as my parents." When I said this through tears, my parents smiled warmly and forgave me. "I love you very much, Ethan. We're sorry for making you suffer because of our poverty. I'm glad that you're our child." My parents hugged me tightly. This incident deepened our family bond, and I learned to cherish my parents more. Later, my parents managed to pay off the debts, allowing me to continue my education through high school. In my senior year, when it was time to decide on my future path, I chose to work instead of pursuing further education. My parents said it was okay to go to college, but I had no particular desire to attend. I thought it would be pointless to follow the crowd to college without a clear goal. Moreover, I wanted to relieve my parents of their struggles as soon as possible. I wanted to repay them for raising me. After job hunting, I received an offer from an advertising production company, and my journey as a working adult began. Since joining the company, I have worked extremely hard. It was challenging, even more than my student days. I made many mistakes, but fortunately, I had supportive supervisors and colleagues who helped me learn the ropes. Gradually, I began to achieve results and gained recognition from my boss. I was promoted and experienced managing major projects. I even handled TV commercials, some of which became big hits. Correspondingly, my salary increased. On the personal front, life was fulfilling too. Firstly, I could buy gifts for my parents with the money I earned. They both teared up with joy when I bought them brand-name bags. Additionally, I reconnected with my high school classmate, Madison, at a reunion, and we began dating. 2 years into our relationship, at Christmas, I proposed and we decided to get married. I was busy with work and couldn't pay much attention to Madison after marriage, but she never complained and was understanding. She was proactive in household chores, which was a big help. Thanks to her support, I could focus on work and successfully led several big projects. My life was going smoothly. However, decades after I started working, our company was acquired by a multinational corporation. This led to staff reductions, and voluntary retirement was offered. I considered raising my hand. Having worked non-stop since high school, I felt the need for a break. I thought I deserved a rest after all the hard work. Above all, I wanted to spend more time with my wife, Madison. Due to my frequent overtime and weekend work, we hardly spent time together. She must have felt lonely. Yet, she always cared for me, and I wanted to spend quality time with her. With sufficient savings and Madison's support, I decided to retire. Post-retirement life was relaxed and different. We decided to go on a hot spring trip, staying at a scenic mountain hotel in Colorado. The cuisine and hot springs were excellent, offering a refreshing experience. Back from the trip, I started helping with household chores, which I previously couldn't assist with. Cleaning and doing laundry together as a couple turned out to be surprisingly fun. Especially cooking was enjoyable, and planning meals while shopping together became our daily routine. Madison was happy, saying, "I never knew spending time together as a couple could be this enjoyable." We also visited my parents, helping them with chores and taking trips together. My aging parents seemed rejuvenated with my frequent visits. I was enjoying my post-retirement life, but after about 2 years, the desire to work again grew strong. While leisurely living had its merits, I craved the structure that work provided. However, I didn't want to return to the grind. Valuing family time, I wasn't interested in full-time work. Part-time or contract work seemed ideal. Madison agreed, saying, "You've had enough rest, and as long as you balance family time, it's fine." Thus, I began job hunting and eventually joined an electronics manufacturer as a contract employee. As a contract worker, I was assigned simple administrative tasks and errands. But I was happy to be working. Even small tasks contribute to someone's work. Being able to help in any way is gratifying. Madison noticed my renewed energy, saying, "You seem more vibrant since you started working again. Work really suits you." One day, an unusual task came up. I was asked to attend a negotiation with a component manufacturer. They specifically requested me, and it was a meeting for a new product developed jointly by our company and theirs. I accepted, seeing it as a chance to utilize my expertise from my advertising days. Not only the manufacturing process, but also how to promote the product was on the agenda, offering an excellent opportunity to apply my previous knowledge. Eagerly, I thoroughly reviewed the pre-meeting documents that were provided. Then came the day of the negotiation. Together with a colleague, I headed to the designated conference room 5 minutes before the scheduled time. Upon entering, I found that the other party hadn't arrived yet. Expecting them to arrive soon, we waited, but even at the appointed time, they didn't show up. Just as I was wondering what had happened, an employee entered the room and informed us that the other party was running late due to a train delay. Train delays are unavoidable, so we decided to wait for their arrival. About 30 minutes later, the representatives from the component manufacturer rushed in. He appeared to be in his 20s, a very young man. His name was Hayden. He was a recent appointee in charge of our company. A bitter feeling spread in my mind. I had never spoken directly to Hayden, but I had seen him a few times around the office. He was in negotiations with one of my colleagues, and I remember him being condescending and blaming my colleague. "Why can't you do something that simple? This is the problem with employees from low-tier colleges," he had said. "Hayden's company is an important client for us." He took advantage of our inability to push back, speaking down to us. Moreover, he seemed to be an elite employee from a prestigious university, someone who discriminates based on education and status. His behavior was appalling, and hearing him nearby made me angry. After that meeting ended, my colleague was quite downcast, so I comforted him by saying, You shouldn't worry about what someone like that says. As a result, I didn't have a good impression of Hayden. Being a high school graduate and a contract employee, I expected he would discriminate against me too. True to my expectations, Hayden gave me a cold, disdainful look when he saw contract employee on my name tag and then ignored me completely. On the other hand, he was polite to my full-time colleagues, the department manager Brad and the section chief Mike. Unfortunately, department manager Nathan is delayed. He was supposed to join us here after arriving on a different train, but his train hasn't arrived yet. He explained, apologizing sincerely, a stark contrast to how he had treated me. Feeling a bit dismayed at Hayden's behavior, we decided to start the meeting without waiting for Nathan, as it was getting late. The plan for the day was to discuss the details of a new product launch. Hayden started a presentation after distributing the documents to us. He was confident and seemed sure of his opinions. However, several things concerned me. The new product was being marketed as the cheapest in the industry, but that meant using cheaper components, significantly lowering the quality. This could lead to accidents during use, and necessary costs like labor expenses would have to be significantly reduced. Underpaying workers is a problem. Moreover, there were issues with the advertising strategy. While using TV and web advertisements was a good idea, the content of the ads was lackluster. They didn't seem to stimulate purchasing desires. Brad and Mike also seemed unconvinced, so I pointed out these issues one after the other. Considering all these points, I think it would be better to rethink the plan. I concluded. Hayden looked visibly displeased. Look, this product is aimed at general households. Of course, a lower price is better. Our company's consumer surveys also indicated a strong preference for pricing, he argued. But this product is a major project for our company. If an accident occurs during use, the consequences will be irreversible. We must ensure it's developed satisfactorily before launching. I counted. Hayden became more annoyed and pointed at my name tag. Shut up, will you? You're just a contract employee. Don't overstep your bounds. Please calm down. Whether I'm a contract employee or not shouldn't matter right now, I said. I was fed up with Hayden's discriminatory attitude, but I tried to soothe him. However, Hayden, frustrated, grabbed a nearby water bottle and angrily splashed its contents at me, saying, "Don't get cocky because you're a contract worker." Ugh. Caught off guard, I couldn't dodge in time and ended up drenched in tea. As tea dripped down from my head, Brad and Mike hurriedly offered me handkerchiefs, while Hayden smirked mockingly. "Humph. This is what happens when a contract worker gets too presumptuous," he scoffed. "That's too much. He's gone too far," I thought. I wanted to yell, but he represented an important client. So, I held back my anger. Just then, the door to the meeting room opened and Nathan walked in. "I'm terribly sorry for being late. What exactly is happening here?" he asked, sensing the tense atmosphere and looking confused. When Brad and Mike explained the situation, Nathan's face turned pale. "What have you done? Apologize immediately," he scolded Hayden, but Hayden was still mumbling, "But he's just a contract employee." Nathan then revealed a shocking fact to Hayden. "Listen, Ethan here previously worked at an advertising agency and had created a commercial for our company. Yes, the one that's still airing," he said. Hayden's eyes widened. "What? He made that commercial?" "Yes. As you know, that commercial became a huge hit and significantly raised our company's profile. The profits it generated are immeasurable. That's where everyone in our company, including President Thompson, respects Ethan. He's a hero to us. We invited him here today, expecting valuable advice," Nathan explained. Realizing the gravity of the situation, Hayden looked completely flustered. "Ethan, Hayden is new to our company and was unaware of your background. I'm truly sorry for his behavior," Nathan said, attempting to apologize more. which I quickly stopped. Hayden, reversing his earlier attitude, and apologized. "I'm sorry. I had no idea you were such a remarkable person and was disrespectful," he admitted. I couldn't help but smile wryly at his drastic change. Yet, since he apologized, I chose to forgive him. "Hayden, let's let this go. It's common to make mistakes when young. I too made many when I was younger," I remarked. Hayden's face showed relief. Then, looking at him, I added, "However, judging people by their education or position isn't right. True value lies within a person. Aim to be great in character, not just in education." Hayden nodded solemnly. "I was raised in a family that valued academic achievement and always thought that people with high education or status were remarkable. But this incident has shown me that I was wrong. From now on, I will properly engage with people," he said. Hearing this, I felt a sense of relief. He would surely grow in the right direction from now on. Looking again at the documents, I said, "Hayden, your documents are very well prepared, and your explanation was clear. The strategy of creating a low-cost product and using web advertisements is not wrong. With some revisions, it could be a great plan." Hayden's face brightened. "Understood. I'll make the necessary corrections before our next meeting," he replied. Later, I learned that Hayden was demoted and couldn't be promoted for some time. He was being strictly trained under Nathan. A month later, we had another meeting. Hayden apologized again for his previous misconduct and presented a revised plan. The new content was significantly improved. The product, utilizing new materials, achieved cost reduction without compromising safety, greatly enhancing its safety features. This way, we can confidently launch it in the market. The content of the advertisement was also problem-free. In fact, I had provided various pieces of advice regarding this. Hayden took them seriously. He himself had studied advertising in depth, resulting in a campaign that would surely resonate with consumers. "Hayden, well done. Both the product and the advertising look great," I said after his presentation. His face lit up with joy. "Thanks to you, Ethan. I'll keep working hard for the success of this project," he said, his eyes clear, showing his sincere change of heart. Accepting mistakes, facing oneself and others, and growing from them, that's what life is all about, I realized. Thus, despite some initial troubles, the project progressed smoothly, and the product became a big hit. The advertisement also became a hot topic on social media for its creativity. I was offered a position as a full-time employee in recognition of my achievements, but I declined. My desire to prioritize time with Madison was stronger, so the flexibility of being a contract worker suited me better. Having wrapped up a major project, I planned a trip with Madison and my parents. Madison gets along well with my parents, so she immediately agreed. It had been a while since our whole family traveled together, creating joyful memories. We decided to make such occasions a regular event. I was furious when Hayden splashed tea on me, but I'm glad things turned around positively. It was a refreshing reminder of the joy of working. However, for me now, my family, including Madison, is more important. My ability to come this far in life is thanks to my family. For the rest of my life, I intend to cherish the time spent with my family. My name is Michael, and I'm 34 years old. Yet, I'm still not married and don't even have a girlfriend. I wasn't popular in middle school, and that didn't change in high school either. In contrast, my high school classmate, Alex, in the same class, was extremely popular. He was athletically gifted, academically strong, and handsome. Plus, being over 6 feet tall made him irresistible to the girls. Despite the school's ban on bringing chocolates on Valentine's Day, girls broke that rule for Alex. His locker was so stuffed with chocolates from the girls that it was almost like an avalanche. Whoa, look at all this chocolate again this year. Well, I am pretty cool and popular, so it can't be helped. But what am I gonna do with all this chocolate? I might get her nose bleed. Being a popular guy is tough. That's a lot, isn't it? Haha, impressive, right? Or how about you? I guess 0 for me again this year. Well, that figures. If a girl gave you chocolate, she must be pretty odd. I'm this popular, but I can only love one girl. Ha ha ha. Alex, aware of his popularity, spoke in a somewhat arrogant manner. His laughter made me feel somewhat uncomfortable. Sure, it's my fault for not being popular, and there's no use in vying others. But being blatantly mocked like that was still unpleasant. In our senior year of high school, everyone started thinking seriously about their future. I wanted to go to university, but my family was quite poor. My parents said they could afford high school, but that was it, so I reluctantly chose to work after graduation. When I told Mr. Johnson I wanted to work, he said I was the only one in the year, so I realized everyone else was going to university or vocational school. Alex looked down on me when he found out I wanted to work. Hey, are you seriously going to work after high school? Working with just a high school diploma is like giving up on life. I'm going to a good university, then a good company, and make a lot of money. That's what being on the winning side of life is. My dad makes a lot in a foreign company, and I learn just as much. Oh, my family could barely afford high school, let alone university. That's why I'm working. I thought your family was poor, but I didn't know they couldn't even send you to university. But there are scholarships, you know. Well, scholarships are basically loans, and I don't want to go that far. If I ever want to study further, I'll think about it then. My parents are fine with whatever I study, even if I go to grad school. It's different in a family that makes money. You're unlucky, being poor and unable to afford university. Well, you're not that smart, so even with the money, it might have been impossible. I was close to snapping at Alex's words. But fighting or yelling would be pointless and take too much effort, so I let it go. He always looked down on and mocked someone, especially targeting me. Because my family was very poor. My family was a father-son household. My dad was often sick and couldn't work much. My mom apparently had affairs when I was a kindergartner. Dad found out about the last affair, but it seemed she had done it many times before. Eventually, Dad became mentally ill, but he couldn't leave me with Mom, so he took me in. Later, he often fell and started missing his part-time jobs. He worked part-time because he was laid off from his previous company. Since then, he couldn't find a steady job and ended up doing part-time work as if it was his main job. Mom was a housewife and had no money, so she didn't pay any child support. I kept meeting her afterwards, but honestly, I didn't want to. She always smelled of cigarettes and alcohol, and always asked me for money when we met. I started working in high school to help Dad, but since I earned for the house, I didn't give any to Mom. Then she would leave in a very bad mood, making me not want to meet her anymore. Despite this dark past, I'm enjoying life now. Work is busy, but I find it fulfilling every day, and I'm glad I chose this path. One day, while looking at my phone, I got a call from Alex. Hey, are you free right now? Not exactly free. I just got home, but I guess I have some time. What's up? Hey, I was thinking of having a small mixer soon. It's just a few people, but will you come? 2 guys and 2 girls. It'll be fun, right? You seem like you're always free. I'm not really free. But when is it? It's a bit sudden, but how about this Saturday, the day after tomorrow? The place is a creative bar in New York called A Kitchen. Starts at 6:30 p.m. Sure, I'm free, but why me? Alex, don't you have more friends? Well, I needed someone perfect for the role of a wingman. I thought, who's the lowest educated and most likely to be the butt of jokes? And, well, It was you. What? Come on, you're fun to tease. Other guys wouldn't make a good joke, and to highlight my handsomeness, you're just the right pick. So, count on you. Wait a minute. And with that, Alex hung up the phone. Indeed, I was on the plainer side, so he probably planned to tease me about that. And since my family was poor, he might have intended to make that a topic of humor too. Most of the guys from our high school class were fairly good-looking. So, he probably thought if he invited them, they might get more attention than himself. I thought it was incredibly rude of him to invite me just to make himself stand out. Though he was always a rude person in high school, I was still disappointed to see he talked like that even as an adult. I had hoped he would have grown out of such pettiness by our 30s, but I was wrong. It was foolish of me to think he might have called with something genuinely good. Come Saturday, I headed to the designated creative bar. It was quite stylish, certainly a place that would appeal to women. As I entered, I saw Alex and the women already seated. "You're late, man. What were you doing?" "Well, I forgot my wallet at home and had to go back for it. I only had my credit card on me." "So clumsy. Well, sit down. The beauties have been waiting. You really haven't changed since high school. Always such a klutz." "Sorry about that. Oh, sorry I'm late." "It's okay. No problem." "All right, let's order drinks. I'm getting this white wine. I'm quite picky about wine. Haha, a man of taste knows his drinks." "I'll have this." "I'll take a margarita." "And I think I'll have this red wine. It looks sweet." Then the drinks were served. Next, caprese, fritters, and other dishes arrived, so Alex suggested we start introductions. I thought it was a bit late for that, but okay. It's better not to say anything to him or he'll just complain, so I stayed quiet. "All right, everyone, time for introductions. Let's start with the ladies. You both are so beautiful." "Oh no, we're not that pretty." "Yeah, just average." "Stop being so modest. Let's start with you, you with long hair." "Oh, me. I'm Emily. I work at a psychiatric clinic. I'm 26. "Oh, a psychiatric clinic. You must be kind. People say that, but I don't know." "And how about you with semi-long hair?" "I'm Christina. I work at the same psychiatric clinic as Emily, and we're the same age. We actually went to the same university and ended up working together." "That's amazing. Are you two good friends?" "Yeah, we get along well. We still go shopping together and stuff." "Right, we're close. We both don't have boyfriends, so we hang out together a lot." "Nice. Maybe I'll join you next time." Well, that's a bit. Where would you go with a guy tagging along? How about a swimming pool? Hee hee." Wow. The women were clearly repulsed. From my perspective, Alex was behaving incredibly creepy, almost crossing the line of getting sued. He might have said it without ill intent, but from a woman's perspective, it was simply unpleasant. Yet, Alex seemed unaware or indifferent to the inappropriateness of his comments, just laughing it off. Well, time for the guys' introductions. I'll start. I'm Alex, 34 years old, and currently a researcher for a manufacturer. Though it may not look it, I graduated from the engineering department and even went to graduate school. Wow, you have a graduate degree. That's impressive. Haha, well, I was pretty good at studying and managed to get into a state university. I enjoyed research, so I went on to get my master's degree. Guess having a graduate degree is pretty standard for guys, huh? Nowadays, more women are getting graduate degrees too, but I guess engineering is still male-dominated, right? Exactly. There weren't many cute girls in college, so I thought I'd find someone at work, but it's all guys in research. It's such a waste for a handsome guy like me not to have opportunities to meet someone, unlike some others, who can't even make excuses for not having a girlfriend. Alex made his condescending remarks and glanced at me. I realized he was referring to me but just sipped my drink, feeling indifferent. Ah, this is my high school classmate, Michael. He's super poor because he's from a single-father household. His dad was often sick and worked part-time. He couldn't afford to send Michael to college, so he ended up just a high school grad. He was the only one in our year who went straight to work. Isn't that funny? What? Sorry, Emily. Christina. He was just meant to be a prop for me. Feel free to compete for me. As I sat there, fed up, 2 women joined us and said, "Excuse me, you're Dr. Thompson, right? What's going on? I was wondering why you were here." "What? Dr. Thompson?" "Yes, he's the head of the clinic where we work." "Dr. Thompson?" "Right, Dr. Thompson." "Yeah, I've been quiet, sorry. I didn't expect you two to be here at this mixer." "We didn't expect you to be here either. A friend of Alex's knows us, and we decided to join, but we never thought Dr. Thompson would be here." "Why are you here? Your girlfriend will be upset." Girlfriend? I don't have one." "But the receptionist, Ling, said you recently got a girlfriend." "She loves gossip. I've been trying not to do overtime lately because of my pet hamster." "That's cute. You have a hamster. What kind is it?" "A golden hamster. It's one of those apricot-colored ones." "Well, can I see a picture? What's its name?" I showed them photos of my hamster on my phone. My camera roll was full of hamster pictures, because I've been taking a lot of them lately. This guy is a male golden hamster, named Buddy. A bit simple, but, well, so cute. Sitting in your hand. Hamsters can be so affectionate. I want a hamster now too. Small pets are nice. Hamsters have short lifespans, so it's sad when they pass, but I give Buddy all my love. "Dr. Thompson, you are kind to your patients, so I bet you're really good to Buddy too. That's such a big house for a hamster. Isn't it too large?" "Yeah. I thought a small cage would be sad, so I got the biggest one and made tunnels for him. This is cute too, right? His eating is the cutest. Well, his cheeks are so full. I didn't know they stuffed food like that. I've never had one." "Me neither. I have a cat at home, so a hamster might be difficult." "True, it could be risky with a cat around." Alex looked utterly bewildered, as if he couldn't make heads or tails of the situation. Then, he softly opened his mouth and murmured as if to himself. He muttered, as if wondering what was going on. I thought he might be interested in hamsters, but it seemed not. "Dr. Thompson, are you, like, a doctor? Like, a medical doctor?" "Yeah, I'm currently a psychiatrist." "Wait, what? Becoming a doctor must be insanely expensive. So, did you go to B medical school or J medical school after getting a job?" "No, I graduated from a medical school overseas." "What? But then you can practice medicine in America, right? You must be lying." "Actually, it's becoming quite well known that medical schools in Eastern European countries are quite reputable. I graduated from a medical school in Hungary, and after that, many returned to America and passed the American medical licensing exam. It's kind of a hidden gem. Czech Republic is also a popular option. They welcome a lot of international students." "But how did you manage the tuition and other expenses in Hungary? I mean, Hungary might be cheaper than the US, but it's not free." "That's where I got lucky. My father had a philanthropic acquaintance who helped me out. I always wanted to go to medical school since high school, but obviously, I had neither the money nor the brains to get into one. I knew I could compensate for the academics with hard work, but the financial aspect was beyond me. This guy, George, suggested I go to Hungary, and he covered all my expenses." "What? You used to say in high school that you didn't need college. Was that a lie?" "I said I secretly wanted it. Sure, medical school in America is expensive, and the ones with free tuition often come with conditions." "Yay. Like they ask you to work in remote islands, right?" "Exactly. I was contemplating what to do when I told George about my dream. That's when I went to Hungary. It was tough, especially since I wasn't good at foreign languages. But It led to my graduation and passing the American medical licensing exam upon my return. I promised George I'd pay back the tuition, but he insisted it wasn't necessary. Seems like he helps other struggling students too, doing it out of charity. He even helped me with the startup costs for my practice. I can't believe you're actually a doctor. You invited me here to look down on me, didn't you? Well, that didn't work out. Just so you know, I don't think being a doctor makes me superior or anything. Looking down on people based on their job or education is lame, especially at our age of 34. As I firmly stated that, Alex's face turned red. Frustrated, he began gulping down his drink. If he's bored because he can't look down on me, he should just leave. But he probably wants to flirt with the pretty nurses. They work at my hospital as nurses, but the gossipy receptionist had spread rumors, so they probably thought I was at the mixer to cheat. But I'm genuinely single, and the reason I've been avoiding overtime is for my pet hamster. As a psychiatrist and clinic owner, I have more time than, say, a surgeon, but I'm still busy. I find my work fulfilling, but I needed some comfort. At first, I tried decorating with flowers and houseplants, but they don't interact, so I thought of getting an animal. Cats were a no-go for me. Being allergic to cats, it was tough because even though I wanted one, I just couldn't have one. I considered dogs, but it didn't seem fair to them since I couldn't commit to regular walks or give them enough attention. That's when I looked into hamsters. If you leave food out, they'll carry it to their nest. So, I got a hamster. However, taking care of a hamster for the first time, the rattling of the exercise wheel at night almost gave me insomnia. So, that's my story. I live in a spacious apartment with my hamster, Buddy, and there's no woman as the rumors suggest. I imagine being locked out if my girlfriend found out I was at a mixer. Even as Christina and Emily tried to stop him, Alex continued to drink. I knew as a doctor that this could lead to acute alcohol poisoning, so I tried to intervene, but he wouldn't listen. Eventually, he rushed to the restroom and threw up everything, looking completely exhausted. I thought about taking him to the hospital, but he seemed to dislike the idea of my help, preferring to be cared for by Christina and Emily instead. So, he just started sleeping on their laps, much to their dismay. If he can't handle his liquor, he should quit drinking. Becoming chronically dependent on alcohol or suffering acute alcohol intoxication can lead to psychiatric problems. Both psychiatry and psychosomatic medicine are often handled by the same doctor, and clinics may have both specialties listed. Strictly speaking, psychosomatic medicine covers physical symptoms like psychosomatic disorders, while psychiatry deals with mental states and developmental issues. But for someone who feels off and wants to seek help, any accessible place is good enough, in my opinion. My father started to show signs of psychosomatic illness, or what seemed like depression, after he fell. This experience made me want to become a doctor one day to help people suffering from such illnesses. Going through a divorce after being cheated on, and then getting laid off from a full-time job, must have been incredibly tough. Considering all this, it's not surprising he fell. I believe mental illnesses, although sometimes hard to understand, are critically important issues. Of course, many people who struggle with alcohol dependency don't do it by choice. They might see it as their only escape from tough situations, feeling powerless to change things on their own. That's why it's crucial to be mindful and not to get too absorbed in things like alcohol or gambling. Alex, irritated and drinking excessively, might end up with dependency or acute intoxication, or even urinary retention for all I care. Though I'm not heartless and, being a doctor, couldn't just abandon him. Confused, Christina and Emily watched as I reluctantly pulled Alex off their laps. He was conscious and didn't need an ambulance. I just wanted to let him rest before sending him home, so I left some money with Christina and the others. Sorry about this mess. My classmate caused you trouble, didn't he? No, it's okay. But what are we going to do now? Since he's conscious and calm, I don't think he needs stomach pumping or an IV. Let's just let him rest and then send him home. But, are you sure you can handle this alone, Dr. Thompson? Yeah, I'm sure. I'm really sorry about all this. I'll make it up to you somehow. Can you pay with this? Understood. But please don't worry about it. I hoisted Alex over my shoulder and dragged him, sliding along, to the taxi stand. We took a taxi to my apartment. After about 15 minutes, we arrived at my place, where I laid Alex on the sofa. My bed was not an option, cluttered with clothes, so the large sofa seemed like the better choice. I was relieved that it was Sunday tomorrow. Even if Alex ended up crashing here or needing care, I had no work, so it was manageable. Alex, half asleep, suddenly jolted awake and screamed. Buddy, my hamster, had managed to open its cage and was roaming free, startling him. A rat. Why is there a rat here? It's not exactly a rat. Well, it's a relative, but this is Buddy, my hamster. It's fine, it won't bite unless provoked. But rats, like that one in the anime that bit the ears, right? I've hated rats ever since I saw that episode. Ah, so you got scared by that episode, huh? It turns out that Alex developed a fear of mice from a national anime, where the blue cat-like robot character was bitten on the ear by a mouse. Although he always looked down on me, I found it a bit strange that he's still afraid of mice because of a children's anime. I couldn't help but find the situation slightly amusing, despite feeling a bit sorry for him. Alex jumped off the sofa, running around frantically, then bolted toward the entrance. Even though he could barely walk properly just moments ago, I was amazed at how quickly he moved. I guess this is what they call hysterical strength. The adrenaline rush in emergencies can truly be astonishing. As a bit of payback for his behavior, I sent him a picture of the hamster. He called me back, yelling never to send such pictures again, and then blocked my number. Later, I heard from a mutual classmate that Alex actually developed alcohol dependency. He kept drinking wine excessively and gradually became dependent. Now, he was reportedly in the hospital, unable to manage his work. I felt a bit sorry for Alex. To apologize to Christina and Emily, I gave them gift coupons to a fancy restaurant. I thought they might enjoy a lunch together more than if I joined them, being close friends. They were classmates and good friends, so I thought they'd enjoy going out for lunch together, and it seems they really liked the restaurant I chose. One day, when my pet hamster, Buddy, wasn't feeling well, I took him to the vet. Thankfully, it wasn't anything serious. I was relieved to receive some medicine for him, and glad I went. The veterinarian there was incredibly kind. Dr. Miller, a female vet, was very attentive even to small animals like hamsters. Turns out, Dr. Miller also has a hamster, and we got along well because of that. Then, one day, I ran into Dr. Miller at the supermarket. She seemed to be on her way home from work and mentioned she was about to have dinner, so I boldly asked her if she'd like to join me for a meal. I originally planned to buy some steak to eat that day, but I changed my mind and went to a nearby restaurant instead. Dr. Miller said the food was delicious and ate everything without leaving a single bite. Although I had ordered quite a lot, it seems Dr. Miller really enjoys eating. Seeing my surprise, she shyly asked if I was put off by her appetite. Did I turn you off? No, I was just thinking how deliciously you eat. There's nothing off-putting about it at all. That's a relief. I'm actually a big eater, and I even held back a bit today. Oh, and of course, I wasn't expecting you to treat me today. I'll pay, especially since I ate most of it. No, please don't worry about it. I find people who enjoy their food to be quite attractive. Really, I've actually been worried about it since I was young. I'm thin, but I eat a lot, so since middle school, people suspected I must be ill. Well, you know, there are mental and gastrointestinal conditions where people don't digest food well, but I think people were probably just envious. If you can eat healthily like that, then that's great. Yes, I'm completely healthy. I just love eating and cooking. It's great to make my own food and savor it. Would you like to try my cooking sometime? Yeah. If it's okay with you, I'd like you to taste test my cooking. I've been practicing French cuisine. French cuisine, that's impressive. I'd love to. I might not be able to give great advice though. I grew up in a pool household, so I'm not really good at telling good flavors from bad. Oh, and I don't mean that I'll say your cooking is good even if it's not. Please don't misunderstand. I genuinely can't discern subtle flavors. I'm not looking for a professional critique or anything. I just want someone to enjoy my food. So, I ended up visiting Dr. Miller's house on my next day off. Her Hungarian hamster, Max, was there. While I was admiring its small and cute form, Dr. Miller began cooking. The aroma was so delightful that it made me ravenously hungry. It was my first time being invited to a woman's house, and I was quite nervous and excited. But then, I wondered if Dr. Miller might have feelings for me, which made my heart race. The finished dishes looked like they were made by a professional, and I was drooling in anticipation. Even though I became a doctor and started earning well, I grew up poor and still have frugal habits, like buying cheap, ready-made meals. I've never been to a fancy restaurant or a chic bar with a woman, so I was taken aback by the appearance of such sophisticated dishes. Are they not looking delicious enough? I guess French cuisine made by an amateur like me doesn't seem very appealing. No, they look amazing. Just by the look, I can tell they're delicious. This is restaurant-level stuff. Can I eat? Yes, please try them while they're warm. Wow, oh, this is delicious. I've never had anything this good. Oh, Dr. Thompson, you're quite the exaggerator. You don't have to call me Dr. Thompson, you know. I'm just Biddy's owner. But you're a doctor, aren't you? Well, you're a vet, Dr. Miller. Right. Then, how about we call each other by our first names? I'd like to get closer to you. Does that mean? Would you go out with me, please? I'm asking seriously. Dr. Miller bravely confessed her feelings to me. Her face turned bright red, and I thought she looked incredibly cute. From that day on, we started dating and called each other Michael and Sarah. Sarah's cooking was amazing, almost like a professional chef's, even though it was just a hobby. She said it was her way of relaxing, and I was amazed at how well she could cook just for fun. I didn't have any particular hobbies, but Sarah encouraged me to try drawing. As I practiced, I got hooked and gradually improved, making me think I might actually have some talent. Someday, when I retire as a doctor, I might even consider becoming an artist. I'm thinking about marrying Sarah, and I want to cherish her even more in the future.